Hi folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. As you can see, I'm at a lake today. It's beautiful, absolutely amazing day, especially to be standing out here by the lake. I hope the wind isn't too bad. I got the little microphone over here, so maybe it'll cut down on the wind noise. So if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you know that I don't do a whole lot of videos on politics. Because it's not the primary focus of this channel. And I get it that not everyone that watches this channel is probably going to align with my views. And so you're not tuning in to get, my opinion of what's going on in politics. That being said, it is something that we kind of have to, be aware of. I'm the type of person, I get tired of watching the news. I get tired of keeping track, and I go through these phases where it's like a burnout. It's depressing. I know most of it's fake. I know that what's being said isn't really what's going on, behind the curtains, behind the scenes, that there's a group of people that's really controlling everything. I get it. I get all that. But as much as we may not really want to kind of keep up on it all the time, we do need to at least occasionally know what's going on, because it affects us. It affects us as individuals, our families, our beliefs, our homes, our homesteads, and for those preppers amongst us, there's a good chance that whatever we're preparing for could be caused because of, politics and the economy. It could be something that's natural, that none of that would affect it, but it's very possible that it could. So we need to kind of keep up on it. So today is just my little rant. Not that I have some little nugget of information that you probably don't know. Everything that I'm going to say is stuff you can find online, and this time, a lot of times when I do this, I kind of write it out and have some notes so that I can hit key points. Today I didn't do that. I just thought I'd just come out here and just get on my soapbox and talk about it. And in case you're wondering, I'm not standing in the lake, but I am right at the edge of the water. It's coming up just a few inches behind me. I thought about being real cool and standing out in the water, but I'm not that into it today. There's so much going on. This morning when I was thinking about making this video and doing something on what's going on in the news and in politics and in the financial world, I was like, what do I talk about? I mean, there's so much. I could make an several hours long video of all the things that's going on. So it's really hard to kind of pinpoint stuff, but there's some big things that's happening. The financial world. I get this feeling that we're still just holding on by a thread. You look at the debt. I think, and if you look at the polling and the information out there, the only thing that's really kind of holding us together is that most of the consumers still have a pretty decent faith in the system, in the financial system. But the reality is, the numbers show that the average person isn't really improving at all financially. The tax breaks and things like that, they're helping out the average Joe a little bit in some places, but overall they're not. Unemployment is low. That's a good thing. That's always a good thing. But those numbers are also skewed a little bit. They're not quite as accurate as they come across. They want to put out a positive number most of the time. So the financial world is still a mess. They just reported that we added, I think, another $1 trillion to the annual deficit, and if I'm correct on that. The overall debt is exorbitantly high. There's still trillions of dollars missing from the Federal Reserve. The markets are still in flux. There's times that the numbers go up and the times they go down, and everyone kind of focuses on that, but they forget about all the other stuff of, like, the bond markets and the housing markets and things like that and trade, and the things that are really affecting, the stock market numbers. Yeah, they affect, but that's more of a reaction to what's actually going on. So if you're basing your information on what's going on in the financial world based on the stock market, you're behind, because the stock market is really more of a reaction to what's actually going on. Grain prices are still expected to, they're expected to continually rise. So that affects all of us. It doesn't matter if you've got a lot of money in the bank or if you have no money in the bank. It affects us. Prices of goods and items are going up, and I suspect they will continue to go up. I don't see a whole lot in sight that's going to cause them to go down. So if you're preparing and you're stocking up, still do it. Things could get cheaper in the near future, but I don't think they will. And I'm not an expert on this, but I just have it's more of a gut feeling, and the things I'm reading, I don't think they're really going to go down soon. So stock up, continue to do that. But then you look at this, we've got, they're trying to impeach the president, and you may like him, you may not. Me, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not a huge fan of him, but he's done some pretty good things. I think he earned a few extra notches in my book when he announced that they got that ISIS leader, and how he announced it, the things that he said. I think that put him a few notches up, that he didn't kind of candy coat it and act like this guy was some honorable person that we happened to take down. He kind of said it like it is, and in that aspect I do have some respect for him. There's other things that I don't like about him, but he's better than some we've had in the past. But they're trying to get rid of him, and I think a lot of it that they're trying to get rid of him for, there's definitely some cover-up going on here. I think they're trying to divert everyone's attention to getting rid of him, because they have nothing else that positive to really talk about to get them elected into office, because they've got a big election coming up in a year. And so they've, the big focus is, well, we don't have really anything to get votes to us, so let's make the opponent look bad. And they've tried this before with the impeachment and an investigation, and it didn't pan out. So now they've got a new one, and it's probably not going to pan out either, but who knows. But have you heard some of these Democrats? I'll be honest with you. I'm not a left-leaning kind of guy. Certainly not. I'm definitely, libertarian conservative. So, if you don't like that, you can either choose not to watch me, or, hold your nose and watch. That's up to you. It's my channel, so oh well. But have you heard some of these Democrats out there? Some of the things they're talking about that they want to do. We've got one that's Bernie Sanders, he's just a communist. That's what he is. I know that's like a bad word nowadays, and we're not supposed to use that word. Well, that's all he is. Calls himself a socialist Democrat. He's just a communist, and his platform is absurd. The tax hikes that he's wanting to do. He's wanting to take all the money that we send to Israel and start sending it to Palestine. Really? That's going to help out the Middle East. Let's give a bunch of the Palestinians billions of dollars a year that we're sending, and that'll definitely help out the Middle East situation, right? Right. And we've got candidates that are they're talking about taking guns, and I guess the one guy that was wanting to round up all the AR-15s, he finally dropped out of the race. But he was just the most vocal one. There's others that are wanting to do that. They all have just absolutely ridiculous platforms. We're not talking about the type of Democrats that were around when I was a kid, and my parents' generation, where they were definitely left-leaning, but they weren't hardcore, openly socialist communist. And that's what these people are. We're talking radical. These people are radical, and they're trying to do everything they can to get into office. And as much as I'm not the one to get out there and really promote voting and stuff. I think this election is something that we need to watch. I was just reading this morning in a Fox News poll that Trump is behind every Democratic candidate, including Hillary Clinton, and she's not even announced that she's running yet. Now, I know what you're going to say. Yeah, he was behind before and he still won. That's true. That's true. But, it's still something to take notice. I saw another thing the other day, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was talking about the amount of millennials and Gen Xers, I guess, that's the younger ones, that will be voting or eligible to vote in this next election, and it's well over a third of the voting population falls in that demographic, and 1 in 3 of them are openly claim that they're communist, and over half of them would say they would vote for socialist agendas. So we're talking about potentially 25% or more of the voting electorate that's openly talking about supporting socialist ideas. And that's just in that age demographic. That's not including the other age demographics that would vote for that. So the potential for getting someone elected that's extremely socialist, communist, is a little discerning. I mean, it's something that we should take notice. And I know a lot of you, and I kind of fall in this too. That's like, well, that's what the numbers say, but the reality is, it'll be just like last time. People will get out there and Trump will get reelected. I still have a feeling that is what's going to happen, but we need to be aware of this kind of stuff. I mean, these people are radical. Their environmental agenda is radical. Their abortion stance is radical. Everything is radical. We're not talking, like I said, we're not talking Democrats 30, 40, 50 years ago. These people are radical. I mean, these are the kind of people that Democrats in the, back then would never even associate with, because they're so openly communist. They're so openly, radical, and the things that they talk about, it's ignorance, but it's also scary. So we need to be aware of that, and it does affect us. It affects us as homesteaders. It affects us just family. If you homeschool your kids, if you're religious people like myself, it can affect that. They're talking about stepping in on and changing laws on churches, and I'm not a big supporter of tax exempt status of churches. That's another subject, but still, these people are not going to be supportive of your biblically and Torah-based beliefs. Regardless, they're just not. They're not going to be supportive of you homeschooling. They're not going to be supportive of you, living off grid, or drinking raw milk, or not vaccinating your children, or owning guns, or all these sorts of things. Living off the land, growing your own food, stocking up on stuff. They're not going to be okay with that, guys and gals. I mean, they're just not. That's well established, and these people are becoming quite powerful. And it's not necessarily that they're becoming so much more powerful than they were. It's the amount of young people that are getting to that voting age, or already at that voting age, that are supportive of these ideas more so than we've seen ever in the past. A lot of it, I think, has to do with the internet. A lot of these radical socialist communist ideas, they travel all over the internet, and they're made to look good. They're made, free health care. Everyone should have free health care. I mean, we all should be able to go to the doctor when we want and be healthy. That's a good idea. We should be healthy. These people over here that are choosing to not be healthy, they're just making it dangerous for the rest of us, and we can't do that. So we got to stop that. So these ideas become very palatable for young minds that are uninformed. That's where they're getting all their information is from other people online, and it's being fed to them by operatives online, as far as I'm concerned. There was something else that I saw, kind of switching gears a little bit. It was I believe in UK, maybe, I don't think it was the Ministry of Health, but it was some type of, kind of like the CDC version or something like that in the UK. I can't remember the name, but they were saying that there's a potential threat for this new flu-like virus that they have discovered, or that's coming out, or that is already out, and they said it's like, if not worse than Ebola. And they're talking about the potential of 60 to 80 million casualties if they aren't able to get this under control. Now I know they come out with this kind of stuff all the time, and these crazy viruses, it's going to kill people, and they don't usually. But I think it's something to also keep on our radar, because I think that is a large potential for some type of SHTF that's going to affect us. Is this some type of disease, viral type of disease that could wipe out large amounts of the population. I believe that's what the people in charge want to do. They want to reduce the population down, and so they think that that's probably about the best way, I would assume. So keep your eye on that kind of stuff, and look into your preps and your plans and everything of what do you have in place to kind of help work around that if there was some type of epidemic. Do you have the things in place to kind of work, to prepare yourself and to keep your family safe? Because that's a tough one. It's not just storing up food. It's, do you have medical supplies and the ways to quarantine yourself and, that sort of thing. That's a tough one. So be looking into that, and look over your prep supplies and your plan, and see if it needs to be tweaked, because I think that's something that we all need to keep in mind, that is a very big potential threat. Anyways, there's so much out there, and I know I haven't really thrown anything new at you, but stay focused on this stuff. This next election could be a big deal for us. It may not be, but it could be, because there's so many out there. In the past there was always one or two potential candidates that were really radical. Now all of the ones in the Democrats, they're all radical. They're all crazy, extreme, radical people. They all want a ridiculous radical agenda. So let's stay on top of that, and as much as you sometimes can't stomach it like myself, but we do need to keep an eye on what's going on in the news. All right, I think that's about all I have. I know it wasn't a great rant or video, but I thought it would be something to kind of just remind you guys and gals of keeping a watch on this kind of stuff. I'm going to enjoy the lake a little bit more. But I'll be back with some more videos at another time. So thank you all for watching, and Epstein didn't kill himself, and I'll catch you in the next video.